If you've ever saved up your calories for that big cheat meal later, this episode is for you. And I'm going to talk to you guys about how banking calories can break your health. I'm going to give you guys the real truth about cheat day math. So, guys, tune in and take notes.
Welcome to the CrossFit Edwardsville Community Podcast, where we hear and learn from our coaches, CrossFitters, and Glen Ed community leaders. Now, here are your hosts, Dallas and Greg.
So I remember the first time I heard about the concept of calorie saving, which is when you avoid eating anything, saving up your calories so you can use them later on for some sort of, quote, bad behavior nutritionally. I heard about this for the first time when I was in college, and I heard about it from girls that were calorie saving because they knew they're going to be drinking a whole lot that evening, and they would save their calories for that drinking binge that evening. And I remember thinking to myself, man, that sounds like an just incredibly unhealthy thing to do. But then I checked myself, and then I realized this was actually something that I did too when I was much younger, when I was a kid. When I think back to my past, Fridays at the Skelly household when we were growing up, Fridays were pizza night. And I remember that I realized when I was 10 years old, I realized I could eat an entire Domino's pizza, extra cheese, large, by myself. But in order to make that as easy as possible, I would stop eating on Thursday night and then just wait till Friday night and pizza night arrived, so I'd be as hungry as possible when pizza arrived at our doorstep. And I remember that it was like, not only like did the food taste the absolute best when I was the absolute hungriest when the pizza arrived, but it also made it like way easier to eat the whole thing in one sitting, which was the sort of thing that I was competitively inclined to do. Like it was cool to me that I could be 10 years old and scarf down a whole large pizza by myself. Just to give you an idea of like how different my mindset was when I was a kid. So when I remembered that, I checked myself and be like, okay, let's not be judgy about these college girls that are saving their calories, because I did my own version of the same nonsense. So I don't know what it was. Like, I was hanging out with our nutrition group the other day. I'm a part of this. Like, we all hold each other accountable. We all share our food journals every single day so that we're all accountable for everything that we eat and drink. Everything that I eat and drink, all the other guys in the group see it. They all, like, I see what they eat. And it's just amazing accountability. And I don't remember what exactly brought this up, like this concept of calorie saving, but I remembered that idea from college. Well, I remember learning about that idea from college. And then I thought, I'm kind of curious to go back and do maybe a little bit of homework and learn what are the actual damaging effects of this kind of behavior. And so, having seen this before, not just in college and in myself, but also in our accountability challenges where we are transparent with each other about what we're eating. I've seen some of our CrossFitters demonstrate this behavior before too. And right off the bat, without even doing any homework, it's pretty clear to me that it's establishing an unhealthy relationship with food, because what you're doing is you're treating food like an allowance that you get, and you can spend that allowance on complete and total bullshit as long as you stay within your spending limits, so to speak. And as I got to think about it more and more, I realized that there's layers and layers and layers of problems with this idea. I mean, besides just the dysfunctional relationship with food that it promotes, you're also taking yourself from a full tank of high quality, healthy food that fuels amazing energy and fuels an amazing life, and you're trading it for a full tank of complete bullshit, a full tank of alcohol calories, or in my case, pizza calories, and calories that don't give you energy, don't give you vibrance, don't give you health and vitality and nutrients and vitamins and minerals and all those things that your body needs to actually go out and live a great life. Now, I want to be super clear that the law of thermodynamics and calories in versus calories out is very much a real thing. And it is very much one of the variables that is at play when you're trying to cut body fat. And so, and just beyond that too, there is a lot of really good scientific data that backs the idea that, I use this term very cautiously, caloric restriction over time is one of the things that actually leads to longevity and health, which in that specific context, they're talking about having some sort of dietary plan that they follow, some sort of guidelines that create safe boundaries for what you eat, what you don't eat, and the amount of it that you eat. That pattern of exercising restraint and eating what you need to be energized, to go out and kick butt, take names, have great energy, live your best life, be your best athlete self, that is a healthy thing to do over time. So, quote, caloric restriction is very validated by science, but the idea of doing so as a validation for consuming poison is not validated by science. So in order to learn more about this, I went and I did some homework online to learn more about how does this pattern of caloric restriction actually hurt you? Because saving calories could be costing you more than you think. So here's a list of what I found in some super quick homework run. First, blood sugar instability. If you go through a long fasting period and then follow it with a high sugar, high fat cheat meal, that can spike and crash blood sugar, which means you feel fatigued, dizzy, irritable, and may have increased cravings. In short, like you get that spike of energy followed by a crash and you feel terrible afterward. It can also screw with your hormones. Irregular eating patterns can impact cortisol, insulin, and then leptin and ghrelin are the satiety hormones in the brain. The signals can be completely out of whack following this kind of behavior, which can make appetite regulation harder to do long term. Additionally, you might see catabolism, muscle loss, and metabolic slowdown because prolonged calorie restriction without adequate protein intake promotes muscle catabolism, meaning you lose muscle. Your body starts to eat at and consume and lose the high quality muscle tissue you worked hard to get. It can even lead to digestive stress. Large cheat meals after fasting can overwhelm the gut. Not necessarily, depends on what you're eating, but that can lead to bloating, discomfort, even reactive hypoglycemia. Here's what I was saying. This is now just reinforcing what I was mentioning before. This puts you at a disordered eating risk. The save, then binge cycle reinforces really unhealthy food relationships. It makes food feel like a punishment or reward, and then it can lead to increased risk of binge eating disorder. And I feel pretty strongly that the girls in college that I saw calorie saving, many of them probably were secretly binge eating disorder sufferers. And I feel terrible for them when I think about what it's like to go through that. I mean, that sort of pattern of behavior leads to nutrient deficiencies and all kinds of other problems. Like you don't have nutrition that you need to have a healthy life. That can add up over time. It can really screw you up. Not to mention, if you're a CrossFitter, you can see performance and recovery issues. Or hell, if you're an athlete of any sort, if you're an exerciser of any sort, you need to have healthy food intake in order to energize and promote healthy muscle activity. The systems of the body, the aerobic systems, the glycolytic systems, all of these depend on having fuel to energize and stoke the flames of your metabolic furnaces. You know what I mean? Plus, like falling out and losing consciousness during a workout is an injury risk. It's the whole thing. So anyway, if you have been suffering from some sort of disordered eating that follows this pattern, I do encourage you to see a psychologist about it, get professional help of some regard, talk to somebody about this because it's a very dangerous thing. And I'm here because I care about you guys and I want you guys to actually be your healthiest selves and enjoy a rich, rewarding, fulfilling, energizing relationship with food, not a disordered or dysfunctional relationship with food. I care about you guys, and I hope that this has been helpful for you in some way. Share your thoughts with me in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys. That's all I got. I'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening to my dad's podcast. For more useful tools and guidance, go to CrossFitEdwardsville.com and feel free to like, share, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comment sections down below. See you in the next episode.